Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies. And we know they are really groovy.
Hello, hello, and we are here to have a controversial show. Yes, this might be the most controversial show we have ever done. It's about America's sweetheart, Sandra Bullock. We know her. Some of us love her. Some of us don't love her as much. But we're going to bring up the guys, Manny Zamora and popcorn muncher Rory Penland, because he knows why he's laughing. He is the biggest Sandra Bullock fan that has ever walked the earth.
Okay, I'll be honest with you. When I was younger and Sandra Bullock's movies were coming out in the 90s, I didn't like her. There was something about her that just told me, oh, they just hate working with Julia Roberts and they want somebody else.
She was like the sub. She was the sub.
I'll tell you, this weekend I watched a lot of Sandra Bullock movies.
You went deep. You immersed yourself in the Bullock.
And there was some stuff there that I just didn't see before. I didn't realize.
Okay.
So again, I had seen the crappy stuff, the stuff that really, she's not a bad actress. She's a pretty good actress. I'll be honest with you. But I had seen like Demolition Man, which
people like her.
Oh my God. You know, the only Stallone movie that's worse is, you know, Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. And they threw her in there because she was hot at the time. And I really feel she made the best with what she had, as did Wesley Snipes. But it was just a terrible Stallone movie. It really was. It's one of his worst.
But what is it about her that you weren't enchanted by when you first were exposed to her?
Well, again, I wasn't enchanted when I was first exposed to her.
Right. What was it that you didn't like about her?
I had seen the stuff that, you know, was not really that serious. And I didn't realize what a good actress she was.
Right.
You know, I had not seen A Time to Kill. I had not seen The Net. I had not seen Hope Floats. You know, stuff like that, you know, which was much better fare, you know, much better Sandra Bullock, you know, performances. I had skimmed through some of her more recent stuff and was like, eh. But as I watched it more carefully over this weekend, Gravity, Bird Box, I was like, wow, you know, she really is a good actress. So the stuff that I said last week, I kind of take some of it back. She's not as bad as, you know, as I was making out to be. And I've been kind of converted, let's say.
Wow. This is a fascinating development because you were ardently opposed to this show.
Again, I'm sorry for her that Hollywood threw a bunch of crap at her and said, you know, make this and be in this. And she was, you know, at the time, she was young and, you know, she was kind of forced to take it. But I really think the turning point for her was A Time to Kill. Then she proved that she was a good actress. She could act. You know, that she wasn't just something to throw into a rom-com or, you know.
Well, this is a fascinating turn of events because I felt
rom-coms are at the top of my list though. So, but there are ones I did not see before. Oh, in The Lake House. I hate that movie.
So that's not your number one? That's
sorry.
not your number one? Oh, I thought that was going to be your number one. Okay, so Manny.
That's it. Show's over.
Show's over.
One of those Keanu Reeves, you know, before Keanu Reeves became cool. I mean, he was cool when he was Bill and Ted, and then he became uncool for like 20 years. And now he's cool again.
He is. But, okay, so Manny, you're the one who started this show, and you like Sandra Bullock, and you've always liked Sandra Bullock, right?
I have, yeah. And now, this is not going to sound like a compliment, but it is. I think Sandra Bullock is a good journeyman actress. And what I mean by that, journeyman act, yes. That means that she comes in, she does the job, and she's as good as she can be, and that's it. No fuss, no muss. She's
She
on
doesn't
point.
hog the limelight.
She doesn't hog the limelight, exactly.
She's the
And I
girl
think,
next door.
yeah, and I think maybe that's why, like Panorama was saying last week, oh, I think she's boring.
Boring, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's because she's boring. I don't think she's boring. She's just not flashy. She's just
Right.
not like uh, like maybe some other actresses.
Yeah.
But and also I want to say that I have kind of a secondhand connection to Sandra Bullock.
What? You're revealing this now?
Well, yeah, I was saving it for the show.
This is a big deal.
And
Oh
well,
my gosh.
my connection is through my late partner Janelle,
Oh my gosh.
who used to live. She lived in Austin many years ago when she was married, and she would take her young son, who was like 2 or 3 years old at the time, and they would go walking in this old park by her house or her apartment. And one day, this young woman was walking with him, and they struck up a conversation.
Oh,
And she was kind of oohing and eyeing over the little boy, and she introduced herself as Sandy. And they just, they didn't become like big friends or anything, but they meet each other every now and again in this park. And then later on, she was telling this somebody else, I don't know if it was her husband or a friend or whatever, about this girl. And they said, "Oh, do you know who that is?" And he's just like, "No." Like, it's Sandra Bullock, the actress, because she was living in Austin at the time. I'm not sure if that's when she was in a relationship with Matthew McConaughey or not, but they were both living in Austin at the time. And she was like, "Oh, wow," she's just and later on, when Janelle and I got together, we were like, "Well, let's watch a bunch of Sandra Bullock movies, just whatever." And that was my introduction to Sandra Bullock. Well, I mean, I'd known her before, and I saw Demolition Man and Speed and all those, and Hope Floats and all those movies, and I thought she was okay, but kind of like Rory, sort of having this sort of compressed like marathon of Sandra's movies. It was like, yeah, she is a really good actress. Yeah,
I completely concur with you that she makes the best with what she's got.
Yeah.
But they, in England, the word Bullock, I don't think that's a real name. The word Bullock means balls, and that's basically what Hollywood threw at her. They threw her into a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
And in some cases, she pulled that crap out, like The Net. Could have been anybody, but I think she made that a little better than it could have been.
Yeah.
With Speed, there was nothing really spectacular about her character. I mean, it could have been any actress probably thrown in there. She was popular at the time. They threw her in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, she made the best with what she had, what she was thrown.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let's get into the lists. Rory, why don't you start? What's your number one?
Miss Congeniality.
Okay.
Comedy, different kind of comedy, cop comedy, but they're poking fun kind of at the industry that does pageants. Great supporting cast. She was wonderful in that. And again, she went through many different levels in there. And yeah, she was good. It's a very funny movie.
Yeah. I liked, of course, Bill Shatner.
I see her back and forth between that one and number two, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, and of course, Bill Shatner as the pageant host. You gotta love him. Just a little bit dim, just a little bit, but just so fun. And Candice Bergen as the pageant director. Benjamin Bratt as her partner, as Bullock's partner.
She and Bratt from the same agent because they're in several movies together.
Yeah. Just
I forgot he was in Demolition Man.
Yeah, he was another one of the cops. Yeah.
And one of the guys we're going to have on It's Casual in the near future was also in that movie, Troy
Oh.
Evans, the character.
Ah, yeah,
The
yeah.
cops in the beginning. He's the kind of older, chubbier
Mhm.
cop.
Yeah, he's been in everything.
He's
He's definitely one of those actors that's like, I know that face. I know that face.
Yep.
Never remember his name. Unfortunately.
Celebrity Spotlight. Troy Evans.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool.
What was your number one?
So my number one, I kind of went in a different direction. Interestingly enough, my number one was Miss Congeniality at one point, but then I switched it up. And my number one is actually our crisis. Our brand is Crisis. This one was from 2015, and it's a very topical movie and a kind of relevant movie for today, since this is an election year, and we're facing these very interesting choices. The two presumptive nominees for their parties couldn't be any more different. One, there's questions about his mental acuity and his leadership abilities, and the other one is Joe Biden. So, and if anybody wants any more of my thoughts on politics, tune in this Friday at 5 p.m. for another episode of Outside the Lines with my special guest, Alan Coffey. Thank you. Little shameless plug there. Okay, so
I did one earlier.
no problem. And that's what we're here for. So our brand is Crisis. As I said, it's a kind of a political comedy drama. Sandra Bullock plays a political strategist who has kind of been out of the game for like 6 or 7 years because of some problems that she had, and she is kind of persuaded, sort of lured back into the fray to help out a political presidential candidate in Bolivia, of all places. And she has this rivalry with Billy Bob Thornton and his character, and he's just slimy. He's just but a great performance from him.
I like me going to Bolivia.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, it's Sling Blade in Bolivia.
They got biscuits and mustard in Bolivia.
Yep, they got some real good French fried potatoes down here. Yep, yeah. Love them potatoes. Anyway, hello, Julie from Missouri. Thank you for being here. Anyway, and so the presidential candidate is played by a wonderful Latino actor by the name of Joaquim del Almeida, who has been in a bunch of other stuff. I think he was, if I remember correctly, he was Bucho in Desperado, and he's been in 100 other things, usually playing the bad guy, or a drug lord or corrupt general, or whatever. When we need a a a bad Latino
Or a
character,
politician you shouldn't go to Bolivia to
or yeah,
help.
and so he plays this guy. He's way behind in the polls and all that. So they bring in these American consultants to shore up his campaign and try to get him to make him win and everything. Anthony Mackie is in this movie, who Marvel fans will know from Captain America. He was not Hawkeye, Falcon. He was the Falcon, and he's the new Captain America.
Yeah.
So great actor. And it's a fun movie. It's like I said, it's a bit of a comedy. It's a bit of drama. There's some serious issues that are being tackled, not just about Bolivia. I mean, like I kind of joked about, but it also can apply to American politics and some of the kind of sleazy behind the behind the scenes things that go on here. So yeah, it's a really good movie, and I think Sandra's performance, going from this very broken, very like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. It just almost killed me, to kind of coming back, and you just see why they hired her, because all of a sudden, bam, she's on it, and then kind of coming full circle to going, oh man, what have I done, kind of a deal, So anyway, so that's why the movie's my number one.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we have never done a show on him, and I basically only like him in Deadpool. But my number two is The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds. It's a rom-com, and I didn't think I was going to like it at all, because it's a rom-com with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But I'll be darned if this thing didn't make number two on my list. I really enjoyed it. Great supporting cast, including the wonderful Betty White. Coach, Mr. Incredible. Craig T. Nelson. Craig T. Nelson,
yeah.
Is his father. Complete douchebag. Yeah. Craig T. Nelson plays a good villain. He really does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Bullock goes through a transformation through the film, from being like, Devil Wears Prada at the beginning, total witch, to, finding out what, loving and caring and having a family and everything is at the end of the movie. That was a bit of a stretch, but she pulled it off in my mind. And Reynolds was surprisingly at the top of his game on it, which I was very surprised, because again, I just, for the most part, I just can't stand watching him in movies, except if he's got a red black leather mask on.
Where you don't have to see his face.
So
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't seen The Proposal with her, audience members, yeah, you should check it out. It's a very cute, funny rom-com. In a lot of different levels. So that was the big surprise this weekend. Good. It was one of the last films that I watched, and I had to change my list to put it on the top of the list. And again, I almost made it number one.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, my number two was Miss Congeniality. So we talked about that. Special, like, chef's kiss to Michael Caine, who
yes,
I don't think he's ever done a bad performance, even in the most crappiest, stupidest movies. Jaws 4, anyone?
Bloody hell.
What?
Bloody hell.
Exactly.
He's a lot more fun in that, though, except I'll have to say.
Yeah. But he elevates. He really elevates any movie that he's in, and I loved his performance in this.
He was her Henry. He turned her into a pageant queen.
Exactly. Yeah. And just wonderful. The whole cast was wonderful, and even the young woman. I don't know her name. I haven't listed here, but who played Miss. The one who turns out to be her friend. Not New Jersey.
She was New Jersey. It was the other one. Long Island.
Long Island.
It's Long Island.
Yeah. With the twirling and everything, she kind of got her confidence up and all that stuff. Just a great cast, and just a great little movie. Yeah. So if you haven't seen Miss Congeniality, now the sequel.
Didn't make my list.
Yeah. Now the only thing that
Speed 2.
Yeah. The only thing that I didn't Speed 2 almost was my number one. I was going to joke about that, but no. The only thing that I felt about Miss Congeniality that they overdid was the pratfalls, her falling off her heels constantly. That running gag. I thought once okay. But when they kept doing it like 2 or 3 more times, I'm like, no, we got it already. Yeah, she's not used to wearing heels. Fine. Other than that, the rest of it was really good. So, all right, so we're
Yeah.
on to number 3.
Number 3, another surprise. When I first skimmed through this movie, which is a fairly recent movie,
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, eh. They already did it in The Happening with M
Mm-hmm.
Night Shyamalan. M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. But Bird Box was really disturbing, scary, and her performance, my God, it's like, okay, these two adorable children have who's Mommy Dearest, Joan Crawford
Joan
as
Crawford. Yeah.
as her mom in the apocalypse. Oh, jeez, these kids are going to be scarred for the next 2 films they make.
Until they write the tell-all.
Bird Box is just brutal, and again, I somehow had missed the whole beginning of that movie when I skimmed through it before, and how everything kind of comes down,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, just really scary, um, as scarier than the M Night Shyamalan movie too,
Mm-hmm.
where everybody wants to kill themselves.
Yeah.
The
The
Happening.
Happening. Yeah.
The Happening,
Yeah.
which in itself is just a scary concept, but they just kind of took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was almost gonna say nope, it's a Netflix film, not making my list. Uh, but yeah, she's the producer on the film. She's one of the executive producers on the film, and I guess when you become an older actress, that's what you have to do to get parts. You got to produce the movies as well, so you can get the roles.
Yeah. Yeah, she's
But
produced a lot of her movies.
kudos to her for that too. She's a smart cookie. She probably put her money in her stuff away for a rainy day, and again, she's still making hits. Gravity, this one, Bird Box. Gravity's my number 4. Yeah, and Malkovich.
Malkovich.
You got Malkovich as the bad guy. So you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Well,
Richmond Pratt wasn't in it.
yeah. I gotta be totally honest. I haven't seen Bird Box, but now I have to watch it.
It's
I think when I saw the
it is
description, it
brutal.
reminded.
When she's telling her kids what to do to survive, and you just these poor little 4-year-old kids. She's brutal with them.
Yeah, I think
Do
when I
not
read the
take your
description,
masks off.
when I read the description, it reminded me too much of A Quiet Place, and I think that's kind of why I was like, oh, do we need to see another one of those? And they may be 2 totally different type of movies, but I felt like, yeah, and I like The Quiet Place. But anyway,
I
all right.
liked
So
it
that was
a lot more than most people. Most people hated that movie. I liked it, but
yeah.
Again, this one even ratchets the fear up
Wow.
more
Oh.
than that, because the people are not only suicidal, but they're crazy. They'll take you with them. So
Which is how it should be.
and, I won't even say that because I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil the movie for anybody.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very spooky, creepy, unseen terror.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
usually the best kind of horror movies, where you just let your imagination kind of take over.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I like a good scary movie, so yeah, so now I'm definitely going to watch it. All right.
Yeah.
So my number three is actually, speaking of kind of spooky but not really scary, was Practical Magic.
Okay.
Sandra
I'm sorry, I
Bullock.
couldn't get into that one. I watched it and I just couldn't get into it.
Really? Well,
yeah. It's got a great cast too, with Stockard Channing and Diane Wiest, and but I just felt it was too contrived, and I just couldn't get into it.
I saw this one in the theaters,
Mm.
when it came out,
Yeah.
and I have to be honest, I really watched it more for Nicole Kidman than for Sandra Bullock because I've always had a crush on Nicole Kidman.
Well, there you go.
Uh,
I
and
have the power.
yeah, um, but so watching it again, I thought, yeah, this I really liked it. I still like it. Um, but yeah, Stockard Channing and Diane Wiest really really make this movie much more fun than it deserves to be. Their characters as the older aunts who you know kind of who in any other situation would just be considered these kind of crazy eccentric aunts,
Mhm.
you know, who just happen to be actual witches.
Right.
And they had taken in these two orphan girls or these two girls and raised them. And one kind of becomes this, and they're all living under this curse where if they fall in love and get married and all this stuff, then the man is going to die at some point because of this curse from the original.
Right. They're cursed not to have real love for too long. I think that was one
Yeah,
of the why I hated the movie.
yeah. um,
Pretty sure, actually.
and you know, and it's sort of their how they wind up eventually breaking the curse. I mean, that's not a spoiler. I mean, that kind of becomes obvious. I do like the whole little subplot of them having murdered this guy, and how he comes back, and that whole aspect of it.
Mm.
And I mean, it really could have been a serious movie. It really could have been a really serious, scary movie, but they made it a little bit lighter.
I
It
I think they were trying to recreate Witches of Eastwick. That was another reason why I really didn't connect,
oh
was because I think they
uh,
one up Witches of Eastwick, and I'm sorry, that's a great movie
oh yeah, yeah.
compared to this one.
Well, I don't know if either Reaches of Eastwick or Hocus Pocus. Um, but you know, it's funny that you say that 'cause I didn't really see that.
Mhm.
You know, but
I couldn't
yeah,
stop. I couldn't stop seeing it.
okay, well,
That's what hurt the
that's
film
fine.
for me.
That's fine. Yeah, but anyway, um, so that was my number three. So
Mm.
we'll just leave it at that. And you said your number four was,
Number 4 was Gravity.
and so was mine.
Yeah. Wow. Very intense
Hmm.
uh, space flick. With these accidents happening and these space stations, and them getting thrown all over the place and going down to their last foot of tether. And again, you got George Clooney, supporting, and uh, she does a wonderful job of making you root for her through
Yeah,
this thing.
yeah, yeah.
They pull at your heartstrings, and again, it's a very emotional movie
Hmm.
in a very confined space.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the movie's it's gotten its critics, it's gotten a lot of criticism. You know, it's like, whoa, that's not really how space works. That's not how it works. Blah blah blah. It's a movie, and
Well,
it's about this woman who
and
is in
again,
a really bad situation. Yeah,
we've seen footage of of spacewalks and stuff like that, and it looks exactly to me how it works.
yeah, yeah.
You would think.
Um,
I bought it.
yeah. Oh, me too. The movie was directed by wonderful Mexican director named Alfonso Cuarón, who's a contemporary to a man we talked about earlier, Guillermo del Toro, and he directed the third Harry Potter movie, Prisoner of Azkaban. Directed
My
Children of
favorite
Men.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
He directed Children of Men, which is another great science fiction movie with Clive Owen. He directed a version of the little princess. That was really good. I mean, he's done some really good movies, and I think this one just fits in there. And yeah, uh, you're absolutely right when you say that Sandra Bullock made you care about this character. I mean, you
Yeah.
really felt like you were there, like you were suffering along with her and wondering, okay, how am I going to get out of this situation, and her struggles and everything. So yeah,
The
yeah,
whole fake out with Clooney. Ah,
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. When you said pulling at your heartstrings, that's the scene I thought of immediately. I was like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, because you really like his character as well. In fact, you're kind of
It's George
endeared by
Clooney.
him right at the beginning, uh, and then you warm up to her later on, and so yeah, just a good movie. If you like sci-fi, if you like really
Well, I'll be honest with you.
suspenseful,
It's more science fact, I think, than science fiction
yeah,
to me.
yeah, yeah,
Because again, I thought it was real. I felt it was real.
yeah.
It's something that can happen.
Oh
No aliens, no space lasers. It's
no,
shit
just
that can happen to real people out there, up there.
mhm, right, exactly. There was a movie back in the '60s. Uh, oh man, I forget the name of it. Starred Richard Crenna and Gene Hackman, and it's about these Apollo astronauts that get stuck in orbit.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. What the hell was the name of that? And they all end up having to leave the ship and end up spinning back to Earth.
yeah, yeah.
Marooned.
Marooned. Yes.
Marooned.
Yeah, it's kind of reminded me of Marooned a little bit, and that was really great and suspenseful, uh,
Not a happy ending.
and not a happy ending. Yeah, yeah, but just there's some parallels between. I'm not saying that this is a remake or this is but there's some similarities between
Same
the two.
same situation.
Kind of, yeah, same sound of scenario.
Just different
yeah.
outcome.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. So we're up to number 5.
Yep.
What's your number 5?
A Time to Kill.
Ah,
And the only reason it's at the bottom of the list is because it's pretty far fetched to think that you can get a guy off for murder. But the performances were all good.
mhm.
You had Samuel L. Jackson and Matthew McConaughey. All right. Yeah, I'm going to be a drunken lawyer. Yeah. I did not know that he had an affair or that he was seeing Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
So that was news to me when you said that earlier. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because, they had a lot of chemistry in The Time to Kill, even though the characters didn't really get together because he's married.
Right. Yeah.
And but it created a lot of good tension in the film because you could see her wanting, to move forward on that, and he's a good guy. He didn't do that to his wife. The whole subplot with the KKK, super creepy. Kurtwood Smith is the head of the KKK. Kiefer Sutherland, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and at the top of the bench, Patrick McGoohan,
Oh,
as the judge.
yeah.
Really, really good movie filled with fantastic performances. Yeah. Again, it's just for a film lover, it's candy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and as a courtroom drama, it's got a lot more than most
Mm-hmm.
going for it.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. I love, of course, Samuel L. Jackson. Just again, he's another one of those actors who just shines in everything he's in. And he has that great line that you always see in the trailer. Yeah, I killed him, and I hope they rot in hell. I mean, yep, that's our Sammy J.
Thanks in the courtroom.
So, yeah.
I kept hoping they'd make more Snakes movies with him. Snakes on the plane.
Snakes on a
Snakes on
plane.
the ship. Snakes on the bus. They didn't do it. Snakes on the show.
No. Well, they hyped that
I
movie
am
up.
going to outer space to get away from these damn snakes.
Snakes on a spaceship. What the fuck?
That didn't happen.
No, the snake floating by. Yeah, they hyped that movie up so much that when you actually saw it, it was like, this is the dumbest movie ever.
I
One of
love
the
the poster for the movie, which is just him in the middle of the aisle.
Yeah.
Snakes all around him. There are snakes on the plane.
Yeah. Oh, so
Renee, have you seen Snakes on the Plane?
Oh yeah, of course. It was.
Of course.
It was majestic. It was totally majestic and magnificent. I cannot overstate what Snakes on a Plane.
I think that
There are
General,
snakes on the plane.
I think that General Howitzer needs to have it on his show at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me tell you, I will tell you this.
No, it should probably be a thing.
I respect the title giving you all the information right out of the gate.
Right?
You know what you're signing up for.
Exactly.
You
what
know
you're doing.
what you're showing up for, what you're paying your ticket for. There are
Right.
no shadows there.
There's no.
Next season, 8-Legged Freaks, same thing. You know
There
what
you-
you're
You know exactly what you're getting into. Yep. I like a good title that just tells me right up front, there's a plane and there's going to be snakes on it. Oh, okay.
And Samuel L. Jackson.
And Samuel L. Jackson
So,
talking about it.
3 great tastes.
Oh my God! Exactly.
Damn! More snakes!
Waiting for the remake with
Movie
Will
worthy of
Smith.
scorn.
Waiting for the remake with Will Smith.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna slap.
Keep that snake out your mouth. There is a scene where he finds a guy and the snake coming out of his mouth. I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie, to be honest with you. I haven't.
You have not seen Snakes
I have
on a
not
Plane?
seen Snakes on the Plane yet.
Oh, you've got to see it.
But
Now that you've talked about it, you've got to see
now,
it.
now that I've trashed it, I
Now
should probably watch
Trashed it
it completely.
Oh,
Okay, we're going into our honorable mentions.
wait, I got to say my number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. No, my
Okay.
number 5 is actually a movie called The Unforgivable,
Okay.
which is actually one of her more recent movies.
Films couldn't download it in time. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it was on Netflix. It's on Netflix still.
Mhm.
If you want to see it.
Okay.
And this is really, it was almost my number 1 for a while, but
Wow.
because I really think it's really one of her I want to say best performance, but one of her really good performance. She plays this woman who has just gotten out of prison after serving a 20-year stretch for murder. She shot the sheriff, but she did not shoot the deputy. And yes, I've been waiting all week to just to say that joke.
Can I laugh? I need to let you know that I burst out laughing behind the scenes, and now I'm gonna just tell you that I did that. That was brilliant, and Rory's face was brilliant. His reaction, I loved it.
Thank you.
Please do more of that. That was
more
just
of that.
epic.
But basically, that's the story. I mean, she really did. She shoots the sheriff, and so she's out. And her PO, her parole officer, a bit of a jerk, but a bit tough on her. And there's this pair of brothers who are the sons of the sheriff who just absolutely hate her for what she did, and they're plotting their revenge and all that. And she even has a little bit of a romance with one of her co-workers. She gets a job at this fish processing place.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's fun. Played by John
Benjamin Bratt.
No, you would think, but no, it's played by John Bernthal, who
Okay.
Walking fans may remember him from the first
Walking
season.
Dead.
And recently he played the Punisher,
Punisher.
also on Netflix, and other characters as
He was a
well.
good.
What?
He was a good Punisher.
He was a good, yeah, probably one of the best, probably the best one.
Dolph Lundgren.
Although, yeah, Dolph Lundgren.
Press my thigh on.
Yeah, not. I did like who, and I think he passed away.
Didn't do that. He's actually supposedly very, very intelligent. All other actors that worked with him said this guy is so smart. He's so intelligent. Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah. I saw an interview with Stallone saying, yeah, I hated him. He's so smart, knows all his stuff.
Yeah, he's very smart.
Yeah. But anyway, and
sure, yeah.
And the big plot, or the besides all that, she had a younger sister. Her character has this younger sister that obviously got taken away and put in the foster program, the foster system, and so she's looking for her. And she makes contact. She goes back to her old house, which has recently been bought by Vincent D'Onofrio and Viola Davis. And D'Onofrio just happens to be a lawyer, so he kind of winds up feeling sorry for her and takes up her case and tries to help her reconnect with her younger sister, who has very little, because she was like very young. I think she was like 5 years old at the time when all this incident happened.
So,
and there's a twist at the end, which if you're paying attention, you should see it coming. But I thought it was like, wow. I did not see that coming. But it's a really good movie. And like I said, Sandra really just the pain. I mean, you believe that this woman has been locked up for the last 20 years, and she's this just kind of hard bitten now and very mistrustful of people, but still has that one little spark, because she still loves her sister and wants to find her, wants to know what happened to her. So anyway, I recommend this movie.
But now she's the sheriff's son's daughter, or the sheriff's son's wife.
That would have been a great twist. Yeah, but no, that wasn't it.
You killed my husband's daddy.
Yeah. That would have been the. Oh, Renee, I promised you something at the top of the show.
Yes,
so I'm
sir.
not delivering. Richard Thomas is
Yeah!
in this movie.
Sorry, I almost lost my voice. I apologize to anyone listening on headphones.
It's not a big role.
I didn't realize you were such a big John Boy fan.
I'm a huge John Boy fan, and he also was in It. Remember him in It?
Yes,
He was in
yes.
it. So good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So anyway, so there you go.
Thank you. Now I gotta go.
I came through with a promise.
You came through because we're talking about Michael Learned. Now we're talking about him. This is a Waltons week. We should do.
Yeah.
And I keep saying to you guys,
good. I mean, he still looks just a little grayer in the hair, but he still looks like John Boy. Yeah. And it's not a big role, but it's a very pivotal role in this movie. So anyway, I thought you'd be excited about that.
No, I am. Please never apologize for Waltonizing. I keep telling you guys.
Waltonizing?
I keep telling you guys every now and then you should let me do a show where we do TV series or something.
We talk about Will Gear.
Yes, it would be so good. Oh my goodness.
Will Gear, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
so there you go.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Okay. We can move on to audible mentions now, I guess.
All right. I had seen this movie, which is Sandra Bullock's first feature film. Back when it first came out, and it was cute. I could never get over the leading man in it. I just don't think he's leading man material anyway. And maybe that's part of the thing, the movie. But Love Potion number 9 is one of her best performances because she starts out as an ugly duckling in the beginning of the film, and by the end of the film, she becomes Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock. So
Right.
it's like miscongeniality, but to the umpteenth degree.
Ah,
So again, a very wonderful performance by her. She's totally lovable throughout the movie. I can't remember the name of the actor that was the lead actor in it. That was her love interest at the end, but
uh, is it C. Thomas Howell?
no.
No. Uh, let's
But
see.
he's not. I don't think he's. Let me see if I can find it on my phone here. I
Blood
don't think he is.
Ocean.
He's more of a character. I would think he's a character actor type
Oh, not the
or a villain,
song.
like a villain maybe. Um, love
Tate Donovan.
Tate Donovan. That's it. Um, again, he's not a leading man to me. He's just got a kind of a sinister look about him, twisted lip kind of look about him that I just
Yeah.
screams, and he goes through a transformation where he's kind of greasy haired at the beginning of the film, and that's the way I see him all the time.
Mhm.
He's
Yeah.
so attractive and everything at the end of the film, and nah. If I was a girl, I was like, nah.
Oh, wow. And
So,
Bancroft's in it? Oh.
Anne Bancroft plays the gypsy in it. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but in my mind, I thought it was Ruth Buzzy played that character when I first saw it when I was younger. I don't know why. So I'm expecting to see Ruth Buzzy, and boom, it's Anne Bancroft
And Bancroft, yeah.
who plays the gypsy in
yeah.
Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about. Yes, I saw this movie. Yeah, I totally forgot it.
And I didn't even realize it was Sandra Bullock playing the Cinderella character.
Yeah.
But a really really cute movie, and it should have been on my top 5 list, but because it's her first and it's a really good performance by her. But again, she's got a lot of good movies, so especially recently. I mean, two of them on my list are recent movies. So
right, yeah,
he's kind of made a comeback. So that's my first one.
Okay.
Do you want me to go down my list, or do you want me to you want to go back and forth?
Well, no, we'll just go down each other's list.
Okay. The Net is another good film. Not her best work, but a good film and an interesting premise. Very scary premise that somebody can take everything about you in the computer and just turn it on you.
Yeah.
Speed. Again, I said earlier it could have been any actress. It just happened to be her. And there is some good chemistry between her and Keanu Reeves in that.
Yeah.
Ocean's 8, where she basically plays George Clooney's sister from Ocean's 11, and she says that he's passed on. Although there are jokes about, has he passed on? Because he's a con man, and she's a con woman who's just getting out of the clink. And of course they plan a big heist, just like in the other Ocean's films, and they did it with females instead of an all male cast.
Yeah.
Hope Floats. Sometimes it's comedy, sometimes it's serious drama. I felt really bad for the kid in the film. She has to get a kudo for pretending to be in love with Harry Connick Jr. Anyway. Yeah. He's a good character actor, but I don't know. Girls probably find him to be sexy because he's a singer and stuff like that. But I've never seen the allure. Again, just like Tate Donovan, she gets paired up with these guys, that I just like, wow. The real Sandra Bullock would never go for that.
Yeah.
So good actress. Points for that. And somehow she never ended up with Benjamin Bratt.
I know.
Demolition Man deserves a mention. Again, I hate the movie. I just think it's just kind of a silly movie, and it shouldn't be. It's supposed to be a diehard action film, but it's a little too silly with the Mr. Rogers angle on it.
Yeah.
So Wesley Snipes, very good performance. Sandra Bullock, my God, getting the crap that she was given in this film and making it kind of work. Yeah, I got to give her kudos for that. She deserves a mention for that.
Yeah.
So what are your honorable mentions?
All right. So mine, I had to mention The Blind Side. And this is the one that she won an Academy Award for.
Oh.
And for a while, it was on my top 5, but then I watched it again, and I was like, oh, this is so Hollywood cheesy. Feel good. Do what? I'm sorry.
Contrived. She ends up in all these contrived Hollywood.
It was very contrived. It's very because
formula film.
It was very formulaic, exactly. And I've read some of the criticisms from the real people who this movie's about. I mean, it's a true story, but again, Hollywood took a lot of liberties. The writers took a lot of liberties with the facts when they didn't need to. I mean, the true story itself was dramatic enough. And yeah, I mean, Sandra does put in a good performance in this movie. Did she deserve the Academy Award for it? I'm not even gonna say. We'll leave that judgment to other people. But yeah,
I'd like to know who she was up against.
Yeah.
What year was the film?
Mid 2000s, I think. I don't remember now.
Look it up.
I want to say early 2000s. Let's see. Blind.
Sandra Bullock.
2009.
Whoops. Why am I not seeing this here?
Oh, I just Googled it.
Oh, producer. That's why. I'm looking at the wrong list.
Yeah.
2009, The Blind Side. Is that what you said? The Blind Side?
The Blind Side, yeah.
Okay. Football?
Football, yeah.
Okay. Later, I'm going to look up who she was up against in the Academy Awards to see. Yeah. And if it's really good competition, I'm going to go find the film and watch it because I haven't seen it. I didn't know she had won an Academy Award.
Yeah, she won, I believe. She won Best Actress for that.
Okay.
Let's see. 2009 Academy Award winners. Heath Ledger won that year. Best Supporting Actor for The Dark Knight. Penelope Cruz, Best Supporting Actress for Vicky Cristina Barcelona. Sean Penn, Best Actor for Milk. And a lot of other. Kate Winslet for The Reader, Slumdog Millionaire, Best Editing. Okay. What about?
It's Best Actor, right?
Best Actress. Oh, I was wrong. It was Kate Winslet won Best Actress for that role.
She was nominated.
But she was nominated, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, anyway. Yeah, like I said, it's a little too contrived, it's way Hollywood.
Yeah.
But I thought, yeah, I'll give it a mention. My other ones, well, a lot of the same ones. Speed, Demolition Man, which I actually liked. But then again, I like big, stupid action movies. So, and it was very tongue in cheek. It was very obviously not meant to be taken seriously. And I love the bit that in the future, it's commercial jingles that are the big hits on the radio. And the whole thing about the three shells in the bathroom
Yeah.
and all that. Uh, and it's like it's so obviously a kind of a poking fun at sort of liberal pretensions and political correctness and all that. So
Yeah.
that was fun. The Net, I thought that was a really good movie. Like you said, that's really about it. But I do like the ones that you mentioned. In fact, your top five as well. And Time to Kill really, yeah, probably should have been on my list as well, but because that was a really good movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my list.
I thought in the middle of that, when they kidnapped her, that they were going to kill her,
Mm-hmm.
and that she was going to be a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually you lose one good character in a movie like that, to really make the audience, go to the side of the main character.
Yeah. Before you go on, John
Yeah.
Duncan has written in, and
Yeah.
he says, "Oh no, put that back." Okay, Helen Mirren, Meryl Streep, Carey Mulligan, and Gabri Sidibe were nominated alongside Sandra Bullock in 2010, and Bullock won it. So the movie came out in 2009. So yeah, it would have been in 2010. So yeah,
Okay.
that's why we didn't see it. But wow, Helen Mirren, Meryl Streep, Carey Mulligan, and Gabri Sidibe, probably for Precious. Wow. So she was up against some heavyweights.
And Bullock won.
And Bullock won for The
Okay.
Blind Side. Yeah.
Wow.
So interesting.
That is quite a performance then.
Yeah. Yeah. Or at least the Academy seem to think so. We'll just leave it that. I'll just leave it at that. So thank you, John. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Dracula's Dog this Thursday on the Big Monster Briefing Room. Zoltan, Hound of Dracula, aka Dracula's Dog.
Yeah.
Did you talk to the Dracula guy again? I'm trying to remember his name. You interviewed him that once, one of the first Draculas.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Yeah. I don't think I should bring him in for a movie that he's not Dracula. It'd be wonderful if Zandor Vorkov had done another Dracula movie. I actually talked to him about that. I said, hey, I could write a script. And I sent him a few pages of a script treatment that I was starting, which I thought I was very happy with it. But anyway, yeah, he's a fun guy, and we should probably get him on It's Casual or something, so we can bring it back.
What movie was he in? What Dracula movie was he
was in Dracula versus Frankenstein, 1971. He was Dracula, and we had him on the Big Monster Briefing Room for Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Oh,
and he was great. He was wonderful. And tomorrow on It's Casual, Andy Huggins, comedian Andy Huggins, who was a winner on America's Got Talent, and he's a legendary comic from Texas. He hung out with the Outlaws of Comedy, Houston, and Sam Kinison, and he's just what's funny is he does old man comedy on stage, but he's not as old as he looks. That's
nice.
the reverse of me. I don't look as old as I am, and he looks a lot older than he is, because even on It's America's Got Talent, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, Howie Mandel said, I know this guy. I remember working with this guy when he was 28. We were 28.
Yeah.
So, but he looks like he's in his like 70s. So I'm going to show pictures of him when he was young on the show tomorrow, I hope. And a very different looking cat, a very different looking guy.
Cool.
But it's working for him. I mean, he's found his niche. I mean, this is what's killing in the comedy clubs and fueling his success. So all more power to him, man. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
And he's taken a lot of character shots that are really funny, you know, playing the old man character. And
Yeah.
I think it's really funny. But he's not that much older than me. So, all right. And that's what we got coming up this week.
Nice.
On those shows.
Cool. All right.
Gonna be talking Chucky next week. Doing Child's Play 1 and 2 next Tuesday.
Nice. Yeah.
And we're gonna bring in Men in Black on next Thursday.
Who's the do you have who's going to be your special guest for
the
Chucky?
guest is JD Moore from Texas.
JD Moore. Yeah.
He's been abducted by aliens many times.
Yeah.
So
gotta love those anal probes.
I think we're going to talk about him next week.
All right. So again, Friday.
It's probably going to play Eastbound and Down.
Rolling on and trucking. Yeah. So Friday at 6, 5 Central. Like I said, another episode of Outside the Lines with my special guest, Alan Coffey. And next Monday on this show, on Two Guys, we're going to talk about an actor who has had a very interesting career, and that is Mr. Johnny Depp. The frequent collaborator with another great director, Tim Burton, and a lot of movies on his own with other directors, and we'll probably talk about some of his stinkers as well.
Probably
because he's had a few of those as well.
Deserve that.
Yeah. So, all right, Ms. Renee, anything else?
I'm good. Looking forward to It's Casual and to Outside the Lines and Johnny Depp. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for watching, and we will see you in the Funny Papers. Thanks for watching this episode of Two Guys and Sometimes a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to get future episodes.